faking a nuclear attack would accomplish a lot. Emergency war powers, inauguration canceled, and possible war with Russia.
Or Iran.
So not saying that I think that this is the case, but I mean, if you're going to put on your tinfoil hat, that's a legitimately compelling argument. If you're of the opinion that the deep state will do anything to keep Donald Trump from actually taking office.
You could read the Operation Northwoods papers from 1962,
Literally.
where they planned to harm American citizens and blame it on Cuba. And what Tim's saying
with drone airplanes,
right? If it's
controlled airplanes,
if it's a false flag, why not pepper it in now? But like the narrative has been set that these are our enemies. I don't know if while the drones there, they would say, I'm just guessing here, but I don't know if they would say that like the drones are here, we're searching for Iranian or Russian dirty bombs or something. Well, it would happen, and then they'd blame it on whoever they picked, even though we planted it like what was supposed to happen in Northwoods. But there's been multiple types of Northwood events throughout the years.
So I didn't save the tweet or anything, but I did see a tweet that there was nuclear material that was lost.
Yeah, in Ukraine.
That's one of those stories.
Yeah, but
no, here in the U.S., in New Jersey.
Yeah, no, I know.
Right,
yeah.
and the community notes response was that it's radioactive, but so relatively low that it doesn't have any use. People.
Actually, I mean, so fair enough that it couldn't actually do harm, but the psychological effect would still be dramatic.
Oh yeah.
You'd still have people panicking. You'd still have people saying, "Oh no, we have to be worried about radiation." Yeah. I mean, look what happened, over COVID.
If in the next couple of weeks they come out and announce we are engaged in a drone operation to detect nuclear material, there are concerns of potential retaliation from our enemies. We kept this under wraps because we did not want to cause a panic. But if in any way they report that, or a leak happens and a journalist at ABC says we have documents showing the government is looking for nuclear material, then I would start to believe that maybe there either is going to be an attack or a false flag. I lean more towards attacks being real. Some people live in the world where they think false flags are always the more likely. I think they're the less likely.
But false flag doesn't mean it's a fake attack, right? Like there's real violence. But
I'm just saying, like, if an attack happens, I'd be more inclined to believe it literally was Russia or Iran as opposed to the U.S. government doing it. Right. But I don't put it past the U.S. government because of Northwoods.
But what's the geopolitical calculation there for a Russia or Iran to carry out that kind of attack? Like, how is that going to benefit them?
So the math here can go either direction. If Russia attacks the U.S., and I don't know that Russia would directly attack the U.S. That doesn't seem to make sense. But the logic would be they want to shock the public into rejecting the Ukraine war. But it could also go the complete inverse. Oh no, we've been attacked. Now we have to get involved. So that's why it doesn't necessarily make sense. One of the arguments often made for why a country would preemptively strike another is to deter them and shatter public support for any kind of involvement. So mass civilian death, one would argue, would lead people to say, like, why are we getting involved in war? We don't want this. Even after 9/11, there was a massive movement against any involvement in Iraq or Afghanistan. Yeah. But I think with the United States,
Pearl Harbor,
right? If there was
known that fleet was coming,
if a bomb went off in the U.S., this country is going to be like bang the war drums.
The majority of Americans, even in the wake of Pearl Harbor, it was such an isolationist country at the time. Yep, they were still against getting involved in the war.
However, I don't know that Iran could be accused of being strategic or intelligent in these regards.
Exactly.
And there are a lot of elements in the Middle East, we've seen with things like 9/11, where there are people across the Middle East, whether you think it was direct Saudi involvement, we know Saudis were involved, but I mean like governmental involvement or whatever, who are going to want to carry these things out. Let me put it this way. You don't need a conspiracy theory. Why, allegedly, did that guy shoot the CEO of that healthcare company? It clearly didn't do anything to stop the problems of the healthcare industry, but it makes them feel good. These people are deranged and they want to strike at a symbol and they want to feel like they're doing something. So if there was an attack on this country, it could be as simple as extremist groups in the Middle East or Russian sympathizers or outright Russians are basically saying America needs to be taught a lesson and we don't care what the results are going to be or the ramifications. It's hard to know for sure.
When it comes to Russia, though, Russia benefits from chaos in the U.S. So if they the more discord they can sow in the U.S., the better they like it. So there doesn't have to be like a side they're helping. All they want is to have Americans fighting Americans. That's a benefit to Russia.
It's part of accelerationism. It's like, didn't the Russians pull off that kind of psyop where they had people fighting online and they actually ended up going to the protests, and the seed was Russia planting on both sides of the argument, and then it went into the real world and there was protests.
Look at all the protests, the anti-Israel protests that happened over the summer. I mean, it's in the United States. Like, that's exactly what our foreign advocacy.
And the country has a great cover right now for all types of crime, having open borders, having let the prisons open during COVID, all this stuff. So it's like you could blame it on anybody.
This is a challenge. If a bomb were to detonate in northern Jersey, a dirty bomb could contaminate the area and kill tens of thousands or more. Would you guys support war?
No.
If Iran came out and said, we, the great nation of Iran, have stricken at the heart of the United States as a sign that when we are everywhere, we are all at once, and if you come for us, we will come for you, and it'll happen again, would you support intervention, war?
It wouldn't be. I wouldn't classify it as intervention. I would classify it as retaliation.
Like defense.
I don't imagine.
Or say incursion.
I wouldn't want to see American boots on the ground, but I would be like, look, if you want to go ahead and take out Iran's ability to attack us like that, because I do believe the U.S. intelligence apparatus has at least a solid handle on where Iran's military bases are and where those kind of attacks.
The centrifuges, the Israelis had a virus that literally sabotaged. Centrifuges. They're on top of that stuff.
So if there were an attack that were claimed, if Iran attacked the United States and claimed the attack, said we did that, then I would have no problem with the U.S. Having airstrikes. No problem at all.
But if they said there were like metal tubes over there and that they were WMDs, like what if our government was telling us that? And that we needed to unilaterally invade the country. And
I wouldn't support boots on the ground.
Yeah, I would not
Sounds
support
similar to
any
something
kind
else
of
that happened.
Right. I support zero actions in Iran pertaining to what they might do. Don't care. Nope, not doing that. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.